So when I start, I usually do welcome to an episode of Whispers and Growls, right? You're going to do that with me as well, okay, when we start. So I'll start by saying, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Whispers and Growls. When I do that into the microphone, okay? Just the growls bit together.
Growls.
One more time, come on.
Growls.
One more time.
Growls.
That's better. Okay. Do it one more time, humor me. So I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Whispers and Growls. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So here I have with me Aremo Gemini, or you go by
Yusuf Àlàbí Balógun.
Yusuf Àlàbí Balógun. If you guys don't know, if you guys haven't been paying attention, I had an event here in Lagos. We're in Lagos, Nigeria right now, called Serenade Lagos. One of the poets who performed was Yusuf. He is a Yoruba exclusive poet, so all his poems were in Yoruba. And of course, you guys know I'm not Yoruba. I didn't understand a single one of them, so I thought it'd be a good idea to get him here to go through his poem and interpret as much as he can, because I understand Yoruba is not a language that you can easily take and make English, right? So we'll go through as much of it as possible, and maybe also play and have some fun with Yoruba, learn a little bit of poetic language from it too. Yeah, how's that sound?
Super.
Okay, so brilliant. Let's start by getting you to, let's actually get to know you a little bit. Yeah?
Yeah.
How is it that you are so steeped in Yoruba culture? Why is that?
So aside from the fact that Yoruba is my first language, I grew up in a home where the Yoruba spirituality was a thing. My dad was an Ifa devotee and Onifa. That was what he was throughout his lifetime.
What does that mean?
So Ifa is a branch, or should I say the entire encompassing body of Yoruba spirituality as far as the Sheshe is concerned. So it is loosely translated as the oracle in English language.
Okay.
So the Yorubas from time immemorial believe that when you consult Ifa, it gives you an idea of, solutions to your problem.
Okay.
It walks you through predestination.
Okay.
It gives you an idea of, okay, these are your taboos, these are your allergies as a person, these are the things that you are supposed to be doing. So just the same way we have, the Bible for the Christians, and we have the Quran for the Muslims, we have the Ifa for, the Yorubas, the Onisheshis. It is believed that it is the holistic collection of the Yoruba truth.
Okay. Is a piece of text or oral traditions or?
Yeah, it's more of oral tradition.
Okay.
So there are several corpuses. There are about, I think, 265 or so divinations. So there is Ejogbe, there is Oyeku, there is Ofunrete, and all of that. And each corpus have an entire poetry. For lack of better words, they have like an entire poetry embedded within them.
Okay.
So when they cast the Ifa, and let's say, for example, it brings Ogunda. When it brings Ogunda, you are delving into, people who work in relation with metals, people who work in relation with things that pertains to iron.
Okay.
So for every corpus, there is a story behind it, and, there is an entire body of work attached to it. And it was largely passed down orally from, the ancestors, from one person who had the knowledge to another person. So, and because then Yorubas did not have the culture of documentation back then. So it was all a thing of oral literature, passing it down from one person to another. And as amazing as it can be, they are able to memorize a lot of Ifa divinations in their head. And just by casting Ifa, they know which corpus to begin to recite.
Interesting. And that's where I guess the poetry that you do, is that where it comes in, or that's almost separate?
Yes, I would always say it has a large influence on why I do poetry heavily in Yoruba, because aside from the fact that Yoruba itself is a poetic language, there are so many floweries attached to the language. I feel like the nuances of Yoruba culture in itself is poetry. that cannot be fully explored. Having that insight to Ifa and the African traditional religion, especially in an era where there's so much demonization of, the African heritage, and people feel like, oh, when it is African, it is dark. When it is African, it is pagan. I feel like I owe that duty not just to myself, but to the generations coming ahead to tell our stories, and not just to tell it, but to tell it in the most proper way, such that when people hear, works in Yoruba language or in an African language, they already have a decolonized mentality, and they are able to appreciate the beauty of that works without feeling like, oh, if it is not English, it is not authentic. I feel like every language is authentic, and if a non-English man comes to, if a Yoruba man goes to London and is speaking Yoruba there, Londoners or people based in London do not necessarily understand his language. So the concept of vernacular, which is something that we are so heavy on in this part of the world, in schools, primary school, children speak their indigenous language and then they get flogged for speaking their indigenous language.
That happened to me.
Right.
I grew up in Ghana.
Oh, wow.
I lived there for 9 years, and I don't speak Tree. I barely speak Tree, because the school we went to, if you spoke Tree, like you said, you get flogged. I mean, it wasn't thorough flogging, but you were not supposed to speak Tree, and then you get whipped. And so over time, it wasn't encouraged at home, and so I've kind of lost it, and I want to get it back. But that is so interesting, like the native language, even in your own country, getting punished for speaking it. I
was one of those. I feel like I've always been a rebellious child all my life. Like, I didn't just get the concept of why I should be flogged for speaking my native language in school in my land. Like, if it was another land entirely, it would have been understandable. And then you realize that when you go to the north, most of the children there till date are still being taught in Hausa language, and there is a way you tell someone. The Yorubas have a belief that when you speak to a child in the first language that he's acquainted to, you are speaking to his soul. Because that first language which you are acquainted to is the language of your soul. You are abreast with the nuances more. There are so many children who were called academic failures simply because they could not grasp the context of certain English words that they were being taught with. But imagine if they were taught in the Yoruba language that they spoke, or, the Igbo language that they grew up speaking, or the Hausa language. So I felt like growing up and then, going into the art community and seeing that, oh, everyone is doing English poetry, which is great. I feel like at the end of the day, we'll get to tell our stories. I do not want to be one of those creatives who tell the Yoruba stories using the English language, because you can never capture it well. So when people want to say Shango, for example, many people would translate Shango as the god of thunder, but I say it every time that what Shango encompasses is beyond, the idea of the god of thunder. And I feel like it's basically from a place of, colonial validation that we always want to get. Even the Yorubas always want to get an equal inverse for every word rooted in their language, in the English language. Like, some words are just meant to, remain there untouched because they are core to nuances. And in the process of translation, you begin to infuse, you begin to force nuances that are not in the English word into the English word, just to make it make sense to them. When you go to the English history and cosmology, at the end of the day, there are some nuances, there are some historical moments that are peculiar to the Englishmen that if you bring it to the Yoruba world, we never had any of those experiences. So we can never tell, those stories well in our language. But we live in a world where everyone is trying to get that validation. Everyone is trying to, believe that if you are not telling the stories and, the English tongue, you are not telling it right. I feel like we owe ourselves that much duty to tell our stories, because they say as long as the lions don't learn to tell their stories, the narrative will always glorify the hunters.
I see. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for explaining all of that. Let's carry on by having you read
The poems.
the poem, right? And you read it, be expressive as you want, do whatever you want with it, and then we'll decide what we're doing after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
So this is poem 1.
Mm-hmm.
Àyànfẹ́, aláǹtakùn ò láṣọ méjì jòwó lọ, ẹ̀kú láṣọ òbora ará ọ̀run. Bí ò bá wá ṣẹ́kù lára egúngún, kí a níyàtọ̀ gẹ̀lẹ̀dẹ́ òun ènìyàn. Òbúrò ò péjì nígbó, ẹni yóò nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ bí èmi ò tún lè dáyé mọ́. Ó yé bàtà kó tó ń yan kele láàyò, àdìtú ògún náà òun àrò, aṣẹ̀dá ló kúkú yé. Ó yé rúpẹ̀ kó tó ń yanlẹ̀ lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́, ó yolú gbó òun máa dẹ́tẹ̀ dégbó. Ó yá dániwáyé, òun mẹ́yẹ oko mi ké mẹ̀yà mẹ̀yà. Bíná jó títí wọn á ní ẹ bomi pa, bójò dàrọ̀dá wọn á ní ẹ gbàgbàrá dànù. Ìyẹ̀pẹ̀ ẹlẹ̀ ni ò ló ń kà, kò ní títán aráyé akúkú máa fárun orí bínú bí wọn. Àyànfẹ́ ìfẹ́ tí a datẹ́gùn, ẹ̀dá tí ó mú jí ó bolúkòso wọ̀yá àjà. Ìtàkùn tó sogbá òun ló ṣe légédé. Ìrun alákan wa ò gbọdọ̀ yéé ṣẹ̀dá epo láṣeyè, ìfẹ́ ẹ̀rẹ́rẹ́ wa ó múni lójú jàbàjà lọ. Ìfẹ́ àjídùn àràǹbádá yìí náà ní mú mi kọ lẹ́tà sí ọ lójú àlá. Máa tún máa pòkó ewì bí ẹni ń ṣèrànràn. Mo ti róhun ju kàkà kí ọba lọ́jà, mo ti ṣalábàápàdé ìfẹ́ tó ta sánsán joyin àdó. Ọkàn mi ń fà sí ọ ìfẹ́, ọkàn mi ń fà sí ọ ayò, ọkàn mi ń fà sí ọ bí alóyin lápá kọ̀ǹgọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ òun yáàlù. Mo dolùwọ̀, òdìgbò bẹ̀rù, mo dòkòtó, òdìtàgé àyà rẹ lójúbọ, mo ti dábọ̀ rẹ̀ ó jàre. Àyànfẹ́, ọmọ afẹ̀rín ṣẹ̀ṣọ́, afẹ̀yẹ tó geṣe. Ìbáṣe lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ yìí mo lè tàtàrí sàsálà ròkè méje òun àkàbà méje fọjọ́ méje láti bọ́ ọ rásálà lájà alásálà wálé. Èmi alóburú nù ká forí ọ ká fọkọ̀ mo fẹ́ ni a bá ń fẹ́. Iná rèé láàrò, jẹ́ ń fàtẹ́lẹwọ́ yògùn náà. Omi mi gbàrí, mo ti dúró di ọ nípẹ̀kun. Ayédigbọ́n oorun mọ́lẹ̀ èmi làlàbí lọ́sàn-án àkàrà oògùn òbódòru. Ìfẹ́ ti dùn wọn àdíjúdú, n ó sìn ọ́ dé gbàgede ìtakọ̀ǹgbọ̀n. Àyànfẹ́, ìwọ lògbùfọ̀ tí ń túmọ̀ gbogbo orúkọ ọ̀nì tíyà sọ mí. Ìtura afọjọ́ gbogbo dára bí egbin, ẹ̀gbàrá sunwọ̀n títí a rí ọwọ́, omidan ọ̀gbọ̀dọ̀ kan sunwọ̀n títí a fi ṣayá. Bó bá woyin, kó fi bú ṣe bùgbé. Bó bá wẹja, kó fa fárá ṣèyẹ̀wò. Bá gbadá kọ̀ tí ò gbóná lala, òṣùpá ìbá kọ̀ kó má gbọ̀nà ọ̀run lọ. Àwòdì ìfẹ́ wa ò pinnu kú sí bàrà. Ọ̀rọ̀ bí ibà bá òní tán lẹ́nu akílòlò, orin àjídùn òní yé tẹnu òbùrò ó bọ́. Ìgbà níná ìfẹ́ wa lẹ̀tù, alápáǹdẹ̀dẹ̀ ni mí ibojì rẹ nìtẹ́. Mo dèèrà, ibojì rẹ nìtẹ́. Bí wọ́n bá dòjò, èmi á sì dọ̀ṣọ̀rọ̀. Àdìtú tí ò yẹ́lẹ̀bú ìbọn ayé, kedere ni lójú ẹgbẹ̀jì òde ọ̀run. And that is poem 1.
Okay, hang a second. Right. First of all, thank you so much. That's beautiful. Seeing you perform that. Okay. Several things I noticed. Maybe it's me. Do you say Àyànfẹ́?
Yes, Àyànfẹ́.
Several times.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So Àyànfẹ́ means beloved.
Okay. Àyànfẹ́.
Yes, it means beloved or my beloved.
Okay. Àyànfẹ́. Oh, okay. I love how it says. Okay.
So, Ìfẹ́ is love.
Okay.
So when you say Àyànfẹ́, when you actually break it down in the real sense,
yeah,
Yan means to select something.
Uh-huh.
If I say mo yan gègé kan níbí, that means I selected one pen out of all the pens here. So when you say Àyànfẹ́, that person which you exclusively selected to love among every other person. Àyànfẹ́,
wow.
the one who is selected to be loved, my beloved. So you see what I was saying about translation?
Yeah.
So really, someone with subtitle is that beloved.
Yeah.
But when you break down the word itself, Àyànfẹ́, the one who is selected to be loved.
I love that so much more. Like, I have chosen you.
Yes.
To be the person that I would love.
Exactly.
That's already poetic. I love it. Okay. Right. And there's something I also noticed about the cadence by which you spoke. At a certain part, it sounded as though you were a talking drum. Do you feel what I mean? So it's in like, I'm not going to try and say this before I start disrespecting you, but it sounded as though the kind of noises and the intonations that do you know what I mean? It sounded as though it was the same sound as a talking drum.
Yes. So the talking drum itself was built with the entire element that surrounds the talking drum is built on the fact that the Yoruba itself is a tonal language. So it is why it is very easy to beatbox using the Yoruba language, because when you read a Yoruba text, you realize that there are diacritics on it. Do, re, mi. So that do, re, mi is what influences the talking drum. So when I say a statement, and let's assume a talking drum is here, it produces it using the tonal marks that already exist. So for example, there is aja and there is aja. So aja means dog. Aja means the roof.
Okay.
But when you write it down normally, you write A-J-A. Now, how do you differentiate it? That is when the tonal marks come into influence. So you say aja, re, mi, aja, re, mi, aja, do, do. So when the drum is producing it, it is producing it using the tonal sounds already recognized. So when you want to say aja, aja,
it really is a talking drum.
The talking drum?
Yeah.
What do you say?
I say it's really a talking drum because like the intonations and
yes.
That is so beautiful. That is so interesting. Okay. That is so interesting. You can play the talking drum.
Yes, I do, because my mom is actually from the Ayon lineage.
Yeah.
And the Ayon are the entertainers. Yeah. They are believed to be the Yoruba entertainers or the drummers. So right from childhood, I got an Iyailu, which is, one of the Yoruba drums. I got gifted an Iyailu, even though I was very lazy practicing with it back then. Life is actually funny when you look at it, because growing up here, they actually got me a teacher to teach me how to play the drum, but I really wasn't serious with it. And then look at me now doing the Yoruba hats, which, directly brings me in contact with drums and percussions every time. So in the last few years, I've made it a point of duty to actually learn to get better with the drums, because often than not, you cannot talk about Yoruba language or Yoruba oratory without talking about the percussions and the music.
Now that we've read your first poem, thank you so much, Ian. Can we go through it and break it down and explain to me what it means? You don't have to interpret it line for line. Of course,
definitely.
I think that'll definitely butcher everything. But yeah, let's go through the different concepts and stories that you've woven into it. What is the poem about?
So the first poem itself actually explores the concept of reincarnation.
Okay.
So I wrote the poem from the approach of someone writing to a dead lover.
Oh.
So there's the idea of reincarnation in Yoruba, that the people we encounter, bodies do not bodies perish, but the souls remain. Souls do not perish. So in this poem, I wrote it from the lenses of, even though she is dead, she's still the same person I'm going to encounter in another lifetime. And then, I'm trying to explore the unending and the immortality of the love we share. That we would still meet in another lifetime, and we'll still, we'll still be the same, lovers together. And even if we have to come 6, 7, 8 times, it will still be you and I.
Wow.
So for example, there is the opening lines here say, Ayanfe, alantakun lasho meji jowu lo, eku lasho bora ọ̀run. So if I break it down, it says, my beloved, the spider's regalia does not exist in duality.
Okay.
The ethereal spirit only shines in Eku. So Eku is the costume that masquerades puts on. So the first line here says, the spider's regalia does not exist in duality. It's always a cobweb. So, and for the masquerades, you will always see them in that Eku, their costume. You cannot see them in another clothes. Because in the absence of that costume, what is the difference between the masquerade and a human? Oburo pemeji nigbo, ẹni yóò nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ bí èmi ò tún lè dáyé mọ́. There, you cannot find two nightingales at the same time. The one who will love you the way I love you can never be born again. So now, through the idea of spiders and cobwebs, masquerades and costumes, I'm exploring the uniqueness, the distinctness that, you cannot take a spider to, the river, for example, and make the river its habitat. The cobweb would always be, its habitat, the regalia. And then I'm using myself as the spider in this case, and she is the regalia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm being the masquerade, and she is being the costume. So regardless of how much I come as the masquerade, she would always have to be my eku, because I cannot go for another outfit. And, regardless of how much I come as, the spider, I would always have to resort back to the cobweb as my safe space. Because, in the absence of the cobweb, what makes the spider then? In the absence of the eku, the costume, what makes the masquerade? So, I am equally distinct in her, and then, separating her from mortal beings. Like, no, you are not, you do not belong to the same category with them. There's something peculiar about you that they do not have. So, bees have their hives, rivers have, fishes have the rivers as their habitat, but the cobweb is unique to the spider. So that distinctness of that love is being portrayed using the idea of spiders and cobwebs, masquerades and the costumes. And then there is a part here where I say, I say, bí náà jó títí wọn á ní ẹ̀bomi pa, bójú dàrọ̀dà wọn á ní ẹ̀gbọ́n dànù, ìpẹ́lẹ̀ olóńkà dáadáa, ìfẹ́ tí a dá tẹ́gùn ẹ̀dá tí ó mú jí ó bolúkòso wọ̀nyá ajá. So what I'm saying here is, when the fire is raging too much, someone tells you, go and quench it with the water. And, you quench it and the fire is gone. Regardless of how heavy a rain can be, the widest thing it can, erupt is a flood. And then, when the rain is over, if the house is flooded, you can, always find a way to sweep the flood out. And then the same thing for the human's hair. If it gets too full, we decide to, scrape it off. But our love, the love we share, is like the wind. So for you to capture the wind, you have to first get into a fight with Shango. Now, Shango is, loosely translated as the god of thunder. Now, in the Yoruba cosmology, Shango is the husband to Oya. And Oya is believed to be the Orisha in charge of whirlwinds and, the hair generally. So for you to capture the wife, you have to go through the husband. So for you to capture the wind, you have to first contend with Shango, which is literally fire. And then in the Yoruba cosmology, everyone knows it's literally a suicide you wish to say, you want to contend with Shango. So if it is impossible to contend with Shango, then that means it is impossible to end the love that we share. So, I quantify that love as, the whirlwind, the wind. You cannot cage it. You cannot stop it. You can stop every other element. You can scrape off the air. You can, quench the fire. But you cannot cage the wind. Because aside from the wind being, mighty in its own form, it also has the Shango as, as a backup, as a reinforcement to fall back on. So, regardless of the number of lifetimes she comes, she has me to fall back on. And that makes that love invincible in that sense.
Damn, no, that is... I get it. Oh, the metaphors, the deep...
Yes.
That is so beautiful.
And then there's a part here where I say Modoluwo, Odigbo Beru, Modokoto, Oditage, Ayare Lojubo, Modabore. So what I'm saying here is that, so Oluwo naturally are believed to. So when someone commits a crime in the Yoruba ancient, words, they are either banished, sentenced by death and all of that, or thrown into the evil forest. So when such person is thrown into the evil forest, otherwise known as, Igbo Iberu, he is supposed to, perish or, be there for life. Like, there is no exit.
Yeah.
So I quantify myself as the victim being thrown into the forest, and she embodies the forest. So there is no way for me to go out. There is no exit for me. I am stuck with her. Meaning that, regardless of the lifetime I come, it will always be me and her. There's no way for me to go back into the mortal world and say, I want to look for another option. It's literally myself and her. And then Modokoto, Oditage. Okoto is believed to be someone who can dance very well, and she is the stage. You cannot separate the dancer from the stage. So I am the dancer, and she is the stage. So I will always have to go back to the stage to thrill the world. And, with our ambience, we can always thrill the world and, set the world in motion. Ayare Ojubo, Modabori Ojare. So Ojubo is the, Ojubo, when you break it down literally, it means the center of worship. So when you go to a shrine, for example, or a temple, more like the altar, where, the sacrament and all of that is there. And then Modi Abore. So Abore is the priest.
Yeah.
So I say our chest is, the temple in this sense. And I am the priest. So, it gives that feel like, when you go into a shrine, only the priest has the access to, that temple or, to be the custodian of whatsoever rituals goes on. So I am embodying that exclusivity by saying that, our chest is the temple or shrine in this case, and I am the priest with that exclusivity.
That is
in that sense.
That is sweet and awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's this part where I say Boba Woyin Kofi Bushe Budbe Boba Weja Ko Fafara Sheyewo Badbrada Koti Ogbona Lala Òṣùpá ìbá kọ̀kọ́ má gbọ́nà ọ̀run lọ àwòdìfẹ́ wo òpinnu kú sí bàrà ọ̀rọ̀ bíi bábábá ò ní tán lẹ́nu akílòlò. So bó bá wo oyin kó fi bú ṣe bùgbé, oyin, that is the bee. That is the bee. So I am saying that in case of abnormalities and the bees decide to, change from, being at the, their usual nest, and the bees decide to find solace or decide to switch habitat to the river. And then fishes, which are naturally meant for the rivers, switches habitat to the bee nest. And then furnace decides to stop being hot and, suddenly becomes cold. And then the moon, instead of staying up there, decides to start, glowing from the floor. The, the hawk of our love, in that sense, the hawk bird, has not predestined itself to die while en route on the journey. And so because it's, it has signed a note of eternity, when a stammerer wants to pronounce a word, there will always be repetitions. So because there would always be repetitions in the pronunciations of, a stammerer, it gives the continuity. It signifies the continuity of our love. As long as a stammerer cannot say baba, in one take, without saying ba, 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 that sense of continuity, that sense of, that is one thing that would always remain as a fact. So as long as that is a constant, then our love itself is a constant. Then the last two lines here, I say, Bí wọ́n bá dòjò, èmi á sì dọ̀ṣọ̀rọ̀. Àdìtú tí ò yẹlẹ́bùnbọ̀n ayé, kedere ni lójú ẹ̀gbẹ̀jì òdi ọ̀run. So ẹlẹ́bùnbọ̀n here, ẹlẹ́bùnbọ̀n is Shifayemi Elelububon is the Araba of Oshogbo. Is actually a person. So he's he's believed to be the the custodian of everything, rituals, African traditional religion in Oshogbo. Is like a living embodiment of the Yoruba spirituality and Isheshe. So yeah, for someone who is so titled that he consults even for the Oni and the kings, for you to know how magnanimous he is in the Yoruba land. So I'm saying that if the complexities of our love cannot be explained by Elebumbo himself, then the custodians of rituals in heavens, we would have to take up that job. So that way I'm trying to establish a fact that you cannot readily explain the complexities of our love through the mortal lenses.
No.
You have to, there's an astral feel to it. And then, regardless of how knowledgeable or how smart humans might actually assume themselves to be, they cannot fully rationalize what we share. That even in death, I am still writing to her. Even in death, I am still, still stuck with her and still believing that, even though you are gone in the mortal sense, I can still see you. I can still feel you. And that was why there was a part here where I said, if you are Rambada, ni mumi koleta si oloju ala, it is this tantalizing love that makes me write you letters, even in dreamlands. So, even in dreamlands where, it's believed that, whatsoever happens in dream is delusional. I am actually still writing letters to her. I'm actually still communicating to her. So, people go on dates, physically, you share a moment with someone, you go to restaurants and all. But in the real sense, I'm going on date, I'm, hanging out with her in the interior world that, is beyond the mortal lenses. So it's a combination of metaphor, it's a combination of metaphor, a lot of allusions. For example, there is a part here where I say, Oyerupe koto le lore, Oyolugbo uma detedegbo, Oyadaniwayo meyoko mikemeya meya. The sand understands why it has chosen to befriend the ground. Only the sand can understand why, out of, every other place it could be, it decided to, remain obsessed with the ground. Only, the controllers of the forest can understand why a leper, is ostracized to the forest. So in the Yoruba traditional religion, when someone is, affected by leprosy, they send the person into the forest, and they believe that they are not supposed to, interact with normal humans, not to, infect them and all of that. So I was saying here that only the controllers of the forest have an absolute understanding of why lepers are supposed to remain in the forest. Only God, only God can fully understand why, I quantify myself as a bird. Why I, as a bird, keeps chirping every time I see her. So, humans trying to rationalize or break it down would always, only put them having more riddles to sort. So instead of you trying to solve the riddles, just leave it for God to solve.
I see. This love that you've explained between you and this person has transcended just, she's nice, she's pretty. It's something that's deep, something that's transcended the mortal realm, something that's gone into the elements, something that's gone into concept, something that's gone into the cosmic powers. That is so deep. That is so deep. And now, when you also explain like that, I see why it should be something that's recited in Yoruba, because the cultural things that you say that comes from Yoruba culture, like the Ogun, the fighting with the whirlwind, the
Elebubon, the one
one
about leprosy and all of that.
The Eko, is that what we call it? Yeah, it's like, it's so steeped within the history and the culture of it that if you now was to just write this thing in English, I'll be like, okay, those are cool concepts, but like you have no understanding of it. That is beautiful. Is that the end of the first one, or is there still more to go?
Well, there's also a line here where I said, Aye digbo orunmole, emi lalabi losan, akara ogunbodoru. So it is believed that one of the earliest work of fiction ever written in Yoruba was written by D.O. Fagunwa. Ogboju Ode ninu Igbo Orunmole. That is the valiant hunter in the forest of 1,000 deities, translated by Wole Soyinka. So the main character in the work was Akara Ogun. So Akara Ogun is portrayed as a valiant, is portrayed as someone who is, powerful, a hero in that sense, someone who can always, emerge victorious in wars and also even challenge spirits and win them. So now I say, Emil Alabilo son, Aye Digbo Orunmole. So the world has morphed into a forest of, of beasts, of deities. Emil Alabilo son, I am Alabi by noon, which is my name. But when it is night, I am Akara Ogun for her sake. So there is the Yoruba, there's this Yoruba popular belief that when a couple, they are in the house and they are going to bed at night, the husband should sleep at the edge of the bed and the wife should sleep at the corner. So, if there is a danger coming, the husband can always, attack it first and shield it off. So now I'm portraying that idea that even though many people will see me as Àlàbí, that is a regular human by known, when it is night where, there are tendencies of dangers, there are tendencies of, evil things happening, I automatically become Akara Ogun for her sake, defending her and trying to shield her from, every problem. So our love is, so it is believed that when you want to dance, you open your eyes to dance. But in this sense, if we would close our eyes to dance, we'll be blindfolded to dance for the sake of this love, and we'll still get to the village square without missing a step.
Every line surprises me.
Right.
Every stanza surprises me. How long did it take you to write all of that, do you think?
Well, maybe because it's something I do every time. So in storytelling for me, I feel that for a lot of poets and creatives, when they are told to write works on love, they go from the, concept of making the addressee in that sense, making her feel praised, flowery words, oh, you're beautiful, and comparing her to flowers and all of that. But I feel like that is overused. And the job of a creative is to create cliches, not to use cliches. Yeah. The Yoruba culture, apparently, as you can see, is very vast. And then, you cannot even exhaust 1%. Like, I've not even delved into using a fast story to write a love story.
Fast story?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still picking it from the idea of little cosmic elements.
Okay.
I'm mixing them together. So I believe that, there's this thing people say about there's no new story.
Yeah.
But why there might not be new stories, I believe that there are very new ways to tell a story. And I love exploring those new ways, using the metaphysicals.
Yeah.
And because people have actually demonized the metaphysical so much, when I want to write on, filial topics like love, I prefer to use the metaphysical and then, pick elements in such a way that when I'm analyzing it for someone at the end of the day, they see how much more beautiful, the metaphysical side, the spiritual side of the culture itself can actually be. So for this particular poem, the funny thing is this poem and the second poem, I wrote both of them a night to the event.
Okay.
I just had sketches
the night
in my
before
head.
the event?
Yes, a night before the event.
Wow.
So I had sketches in my head, before then, but I didn't have the space of time to sit and write. So when I saw that, okay, the deadline is knocking, the adrenaline started kicking in, and in less than 2-3 hours, I was done with both poems. And here we are.
That's beautiful. Have you finished the first one?
Yes.
Okay. So stuff like literary devices, rhyme schemes, is that something that you worry so much in Yoruba? Like,
the Yoruba language itself is, it basically has internal rhymes.
Yeah.
So there is a part in this word, in this poem, where I said something like, mo le tatari sasala roke meje ohun akaba meje fojo meje láti bo ora sala laja alasala wale.
Okay, I hear it.
Now,
yeah,
sasala in this sense means to, when they say osa asala, that means, maybe someone is in danger and you're trying to run to, to escape that danger, running for survival. Sa asala. Mole tatari sasala roke meje. Now, Okemeje in this sense means 7 mountains. Okemeje, Akabameje, 7 mountains, 7 tops, I can race through them in a bid to Latiba Ore Asala. Now, the second Asala here means walnut. So, what I'm basically saying here is that if walnut happens to be your favorite, your favorite snack, I don't mind racing through 7 mountains, 7 tops, just to get you walnut off the roof of the walnut cellar. But because I know that Asala running for sustenance and Asala which means walnut. They share almost the same pronunciation but different meanings. I decided to play around that word using the rhyme scheme. Mo lè tàtàrí sàsálà òkè méjì ohun àkàbà méjì fọjọ́ méjì láti bọ̀ ọ̀rá sálà lájà alásálà wálé.
Okay.
So the word, the language itself is musical.
Yeah.
And because it is musical, it's just basically knowing how many homonyms, homophones exist in, the word. And once you know it, it is easier for you to play around it and still make sense. Because I feel like one thing that most poets do in a bid to always rhyme is that they end up forcing words that rhymes but do not really fit into the context of the work itself. So naturally, I do not bother about rhymes when writing. But when I see the opportunity to infuse rhymes, I do it. Like for the second poems, there are so many rhymes in the second poems, unlike the first poem.
Yeah, we'll read it soon. There's something I did notice, because the entire thing, I didn't understand anything you were saying. But the way that it sounded, and this is something I like a lot about poems when I read them. There's poetry where like the message is the beautiful part of the poem, and then there's poetry where the way that words are used, the choices of words is like the poetry itself, where it's pleasant to actually listen to it being read, or even pleasant for a speaker to speak it. And so like, even though I didn't understand anything you were saying, the way the sounds were coming at me and how you enunciated and you performed it was like, this is fascinating to watch, but I don't understand it. It's like gazing at waterfall and not really understanding how it came to be. You're just like, okay, I'm just here embracing everything coming in. That's what it felt like watching you perform.
That is such a beautiful thing to see. And for someone who for so many years, because when I came into the art community, I was doing English poems, writing and performing English poems. Then at some point I switched to Yoruba. And for a very long time, 2018, 2019, thereabouts, I had so many internal words going to events to perform in Yoruba. Because I mean, if it was some years back and I came to that same event, I'll feel so hard that, everyone is doing English, everyone is, is coming here from the corporate approach, even in dress sense and all of that. And there is me, trying to lean into language and culture. And then back then, I was always trying so hard to make it make sense to people, make the work make sense to people. But then I realized that sometimes it's not even about, because yes, I listen to songs in foreign languages that I don't even know. I listen to Yanni a lot, and sometimes I don't get what Yanni is, saying and all of that. But the emotions is always there. And then, just like you saying, it strikes a feeling in you. I feel that most of the time, instead of asking the audience, what do you understand? These days I ask them, what does the poem make you feel?
Yes.
What feeling does it evoke in you? So I mean, if it could evoke that kind of feeling, then I know my work is accomplished.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. The videos will be up soon.
Thank you.
I say soon is relative to it's so subjective in my world.
Yes.
But it will be up soon. I think before this video drops, I would have released everything for people to go and watch. Let's go through the second one. I don't think we have enough time. Yeah, we're almost at 50 minutes.
Wow.
We'll perform it. We'll read it. How is it a shorter one or is it a longer one?
Well, it's dependent.
Okay. Can you perform it in 1 minute 30 seconds?
I can try, but I cannot guarantee.
No, it's fine. It's only because like Instagram, TikTok.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So you perform it. I'll let you perform it, and I'm gonna just give you another platform. You do your thing, and if we have time to go through it, we'll go through it. But it will just be a thing that's existing. So you go through it.
Okay. So read it, right?
Yes. What is it? Does it have a title?
So funny enough, I actually gave it. I said I wrote it a night before then. So I gave it translations, which is weirdly my first Yoruba work with, an English title.
Okay.
And the reason why I gave it translation is because the whole idea of the work. Do you want me to read it first or break it down?
Break it down first. Tell us what it's about and then perform. Yeah.
So, how there is euphemism in English language.
Yeah.
So the Yoruba is very heavy. The Yoruba language is very heavy on euphemism.
Yeah.
So, for example, the opening line here say, bí o bá gbọ́ pé ọkùnrin náà kú, ohun tí o gbọ́ kọ́ ni o gbọ́. If you hear that the man is dead, what you heard is not exactly what you heard. Bí mo bá sọ pé ọkùnrin náà tẹrí gbaṣọ, if I say that the man, tẹrí gbaṣọ means to use your head to receive a fabric or a cloth.
Okay.
So when the Yoruba say "O tẹrí gbaṣọ," he uses his head to receive a fabric or a cloth. That means the person is dead. So the symbolic, or should I say, how that came to be is that when someone dies, they lay a white cloth, over the person, from head to toe. So O tẹrí gbaṣọ, he's lying down and then they are covering him up with a cloth. So instead of the Yorubas to say "O ti kú," he is dead, which they believe that if they just say it and it lands that way, the receiver might, jolt out of shock and all of that. They try to say it in a subtle way and then, codify the meaning. So the entire idea of the whole poem was me trying to say, when I say I love you, there are so many things attached to that particular statement beyond what you hear. So for example, I say, I said, bí mo bá sọ pé àyàn rẹ̀ ń yún mí. If I tell you that I miss you, what I'm actually saying, okùn ẹ̀mí mi ti fà mí so dán. What I'm actually saying is that my soul string has now held me in captivity simply because I cannot see you.
Wow.
Ẹyinjú mi ti ń ṣèbùdó labalábá tí ń yíra padà di tẹ̀jẹ̀. My eyeballs, which used to be the resting place of butterflies, is now gradually become a home for blood.
Wait. Your eyeballs, which has been a place
for butterfly, is now gradually, our butterflies are gradually, leaving, that nest and now getting replaced by blood only. Simply because I cannot find you.
The first bit about it being a resting place for butterflies, does that come also from somewhere deep in Yoruba?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just me playing around, when you say butterflies naturally, when you hear butterflies, you think softness, you think love. But when you hear eje, blood, you think intensity, terror, paranoia. So, my elbow, which used to be a resting place for butterflies, softness, is now gradually becoming a home for blood to, bask in, simply because, you are far away from me. Then talking about rhymes, I went from tí ń yíra padà di tẹ̀jẹ̀, ẹ̀jẹ̀ máyà mi mo bá ọ ṣe. Now, ẹ̀jẹ̀ here means blood. Then the next line says ẹ̀jẹ̀. Now, ẹ̀jẹ̀ means pledge or a covenant. So my eyeballs, which used to be a resting place for butterflies, is gradually becoming a home for blood. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ máyà mi mo bá ọ ṣe. I am in a covenant that is not detachable with you. So ẹ̀jẹ̀ máyà mi here means a covenant, a lifelong covenant. Now the initial statement ends with ẹ̀jẹ̀. The next one begins with ẹ̀jẹ̀. They are being spelled the same way, but their pronunciation.
Even so, ẹ̀jẹ̀, like if I say blood covenant,
exactly.
What would be a blood? How would you say blood covenant in Yoruba?
Ẹ̀jẹ̀.
That's so crazy. And because like a covenant, a blood, sorry.
Exactly.
That's really
and
cool
I mean,
imagery,
that even goes. Now, that is one of the most interesting things about that craft. I personally did not even, look at it from that angle. And then you bring in it and, it actually coincides so perfectly. And then there is a part here where I say ìmùlẹ̀ ìfẹ́. Ìmùlẹ̀ mọ́fò náà ni ohun gbogbo bí kò síwọ̀. Ìmùlẹ̀ ìfẹ́, my initiate in terms of love. Ìmùlẹ̀. That means, initiate. More like still leaning into covenant, the idea of covenant and secrecy. Then I go to ìmùlẹ̀ mọ́fò. Ìmùlẹ̀. Now, ìmùlẹ̀ mọ́fò, when you break it down, it means to pick the bare floor and pick nothingness. So, ìmùlẹ̀ mọ́fò in a contextual meaning means vanity. So, my initiate in terms of love. In your absence, every other thing is vanity. Ìmùlẹ̀ ìfẹ́. Ìmùlẹ̀ mọ́fò náà lòun gbogbo bí ò sí wọ̀. Ìmùlẹ̀. My covenant, my initiate in terms of love. So in your absence, every other thing that may exist in the world is simply nothing. So like in my world, you are basically the only thing that exists. Yeah, I said, okay, èmi ń rí. Okay, I said, èmi ń ṣàfẹ́ rí ọ. Àfi bí ìgbà ó bá lọ ẹbọ àfẹ́ rí. Èmi ń rí nínú ibú, nínú agbami yìí, ta ni yóò gbà mí? Ìfẹ́ rẹ ni yóò gbà mí. Now, èmi ṣàfẹ́ rí ọ. I want to see you. I always want to see you. Àfi bí ìgbà ó bá lọ ẹbọ àfẹ́ rí. So, àfẹ́ rí in that sense mean when someone, àfẹ́ rí is a kind of charm. It's a kind of charm used by, warriors back then that they can easily disappear from one place to another, more like a charm of disappearance. Èmi ṣàfẹ́ rí ọ, I want to see you. Bí ìgbà ó bá lọ ẹbọ àfẹ́ rí, fẹ́ rí ọ, fẹ́ rí, 2 words. So I want to see you as though you have used the charm of disappearance, and now I am longing so hard to see you simply because you are far away. But because you are absent, èmi ń rì nínú ibú means to drown. When you step into a mud and you are just crashing in. Èmi ń rì nínú ibú, I am crashing into this, this waters, this mud. Nínú agbami yìí, in this large body of water. Agbami, a large body of water. Ta ni yóò gbà mí? Who will save me? Nínú agbami, ta ni yóò gbà mí? In this, large body of water, who will save me? Agbami, large body of water, gbà mí, save me. Ìfẹ́ rẹ ni yóò gbà mí. Only your love can save me.
Bami.
Yes.
I am Bami.
Yes.
Sorry, that's why I'm really, that when you say that, that's why I remember. Okay, yeah.
Agbami.
Yeah.
Large body of water.
Yeah, Bami.
Ta ni yóò gbà mí? Who will save me? Ìfẹ́ rẹ ni yóò gbà mí. Only your love can save me.
Yeah.
So I am crashing in this waterfall. Who can save me? Only your love can save me. But when you interpret it in English, that rhyme is non-existent. But when you take it back to Yoruba, you start hearing something like Nínú agbami, ta ni yóò gbà mí? Ìfẹ́ rẹ ni yóò gbà mí. So you are literally writing the same word, but pronouncing it in different forms.
Yeah.
And because you are pronouncing it in different forms, it is giving you different meanings, yet still connecting to the storytelling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said, if I tell you that I love you, if I tell you that I love you, what I'm basically saying is that aṣáájú ni wọn yóò pè wá when we are long gone from here, or when we are become so old. They will call us ancestors. So we have to act accordingly. We have to, love ourselves in an according manner, in a respectful manner, such that, we'll be a template for love.
It's going back to what you said about creating cliches.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
We'll be a template for love.
Yeah.
For, people to come. Nígbà tí ẹyin wa bá gbóre kéèké, bẹ́ẹ̀ tí a tún fẹnu konu. And we have to be so intentional about this template that even when we have no teeth left, we are still kissing. Right? And then, I said something about Ẹ̀rín di àpínrín. Ẹ̀rín di àpínrín means now every of our laughter is a shared laughter. Ẹkún wa di àpínsun, our tears, shared tears. Ẹ̀rín di àjọrìn. Now we have to work collectively. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ wa di àjọṣàn. Our blood must flow together. So if arm comes to you, arm comes to me. Ijó wa di àjọjó. Our dance becomes a collective. Orin wa di àjọkọ. We shall now always sing together. Ewì wa di àjọké. We have to recite our poems together. Ìgbà wa di àjọlò. Our time must always be a collective. Nítorí bí alẹ́ bá lé aṣáájú ni wọn yóò pè wá. Because when it is nightfall, the people coming after us will call us ancestors. They will call us the template. Ẹni máa kú, ó ti pàdé ẹni máa sin. The one who is willing to die has met the one who is willing to bury him. Ẹni máa kú, ó ti pàdé ẹni máa sin. The one who is basically, searching for a means to die has finally encountered someone who is willing to bury him. Bí mo bá wí fún ọ pé mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ, if I tell you that I love you, ohun tí mo wí fún ọ gan ni pé o wù mí jẹ́ Elédùmarè lọ. What I tell you is that I chose you above God.
That is deep. My English is failing me. Wow. Damn. I gotta wonder what kind of poems you wrote in English.
Right.
How they must have felt very limiting, but I'm sure you would have also done quite a bit, because the way that you're conceptualizing these ideas and then putting words to them, you must have a very vivid imagination. You must.
Yes, actually, I tend to think in images.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I tend to think in images.
Yeah.
And because I think in images, when you're listening to most of my poems, especially if you understand the language, you can literally create pictures.
Yes.
You know, from it. And I believe that there's an unlimited resources to tell stories. Mm-hmm. So why don't we tell them? Why don't we, explore them? For example, I said here that Ododo eleni dodo tin sodo ọkàn mi. Now this is another rhyme. Ododo eleni dodo tin sodo ọkàn mi. Ododo means flower. Mm-hmm. Eleni dodo means fragrance. Mm-hmm. Sodo means to stay. Mm-hmm. Odo means river. Mm-hmm. Now I say Ododo eleni dodo tin sodo ọkàn mi. You are the fragrant flower that has found a resting place in the river of my heart.
Oh, that imagery is beautiful.
And then, there's another rhymes here where I said, Ashedari pe adara funra wa.
Yeah.
The creator has seen that we are perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Adara funra wa. Koto fi wa shara before he made us kindreds. Mm-hmm. Ara kindreds. Tokpe kama afara kinra. Then he said we should share our skin together. Fara kinra. Liars' bodies together. Ki ama adara biruegi. We should perform wonders of this nature. Aramanda, magnanimous wonders. Aralawo fifetiada. We shall always, create wonders, magic with our love. Akoni dano. We shall not commit crimes or atrocities. Then I went from Akoni dano to Inwo wo laron. I will clothe you in the most expensive fabric. So Aron is, one of the most expensive Yoruba attire. Mm-hmm. But the first one, which is Oron, Daron, it means to commit a crime. So I went from Akoni, Daron, we shall not commit atrocities. Instead, I would have to clothe you in a fabric attire. Akun is a bead.
Okay.
A kind of Yoruba bead. And, it's one of the most prized Yoruba bead. I'll put, Akun on your neck. Nítorí ìwọ náà ló ní tèmi, because you are mine. Èmi sì mọ̀ pohun gbogbo a bá fi fún ni là á fi ń buyì kún ẹni wu ni fún kún hun. I know that, whatsoever we own or whatsoever we have owned is, meant to add to the beauty of the one we desire. Mm-hmm. So, the entire work itself is a play on rhymes, play on language, stepping. Okay, I said, ìfẹ́ mi ni yóò gbà ọ́, iye ọmọ ní gbọ́mọ ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ náà ni yóò gba ọmọ Ọ̀rúnmìlà. Iye ọmọ ní gbọ́mọ. When a child is in danger, the child calls for his mother. Mm-hmm. And then ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ náà ni yóò gba ọmọ Ọ̀rúnmìlà. Ọ̀rúnmìlà. So Ọ̀rúnmìlà is one of the Yoruba, orishas. In the cosmology of Yoruba orishas, Ọ̀rúnmìlà is in fact believed to be one of the founding orishas. Yeah. So when you are a devotee of Ọ̀rúnmìlà and you are in trouble, you believe so much that if you hold the staff of Ọ̀rúnmìlà, it has the power to rescue you, to save you. Iye ọmọ ní gbọ́mọ. The mother of a child saves the child. Ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ ní gbọ́mọ Ọ̀rúnmìlà. The staff of Ọ̀rúnmìlà saves its devotee. Only you, my love, can save me.
Wow. Thank you so much for explaining all of that. I can't read. I wouldn't even.
You can try.
Ijo. Wa.
Yes.
Wa di.
Yes.
A.
Yes.
Jo.
Yes.
Jo.
Ajojo. Ijo wa di ajojo. Our dance is now a shared dance.
Wow. Bear with me. The camera's getting a bit too hot. I'm gonna let it cool down, and then when we come back,
we read the poem.
You read the poem, and then we'll
do
a little things off. Wow, no, this is genius.
Ohun tí o gbọ́ kọ́ ni o gbọ́. Ohun tí mo sọ gangan ló di gbígbọ́. Bí o bá gbọ́ pé ọkùnrin náà kú, ohun tí o gbọ́ kọ́ ni o gbọ́. Bí mo bá sọ pé ọkùnrin náà tẹrí gbaṣọ, ohun tí mo sọ gangan ló di gbígbọ́. Bí o bá gbọ́ pé obìnrin náà lóyún, ohun tí o gbọ́ kọ́ ni o gbọ́. Bí mo bá sọ pé obìnrin náà fẹ́ra kù, ohun tí mo sọ gangan ló di gbígbọ́. Bí mo bá sọ pé àyànfẹ́ mi ọ̀wọ́n, ohun tí mo sọ gangan ni pé ìfẹ́ mi àyànfẹ́, ẹ̀sà ni ọ́ nínú ìbí, àṣàyàn ni ọ́ láàrin ìṣẹ̀dá. Aṣẹ̀dá rí ipá dára fúnra wa kó tó fi wá ṣará. Ó pé a máa fara kínra ká máa dára bí irú èyí, àràmàǹdà àràlàwò ó fìfẹ́ tí a dá òní dáràn. N ó wọ̀ ọ́ láràn, n ó wọ̀ ọ́ lákùn, nítorí ìwọ àyànfẹ́ náà ló ní tèmi, èmi sì mọ̀ pé ohun gbogbo a bá fi fúnni là á fi ń buyì kan ẹni bá ń wuni. Àyànfẹ́, mo pè ọ́ ní kélé, ní gẹ́lẹ́ tí a kóra wa nígbà lé mi ń lé sí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ní fèlé mi ń kún àkúnwọ́ sílẹ̀, àkókò ń rí fẹ́ẹ́fẹ́ẹ́fẹ́, ohun gbogbo ń ṣí lọ fẹ́ẹ́fẹ́ẹ́fẹ́, síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ ìwọ ń bẹ láìṣí, láìṣá, láìtí, láìkú, láìkù, láìrẹ̀ dànù, láìyé jáyànfẹ́ mi, onítèmi, òdòdó ẹlẹ́rìndòdò tí ń sodo sódò ọkàn mi. Bí mo bá pé àyànfẹ́, ayùn rẹ̀ ń yún mí. Ohun tí mò ń sọ gangan ni pé okùn ẹ̀mí mi ti fà mí so dain. Ẹyinjú mi tí ń ṣèbùdó labalábá tẹ́lẹ̀ tí ń yíra padà di tẹ̀jẹ̀. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ máyà mi mo bá ọ ṣe, olólùfẹ́, ìmùlẹ̀ ìfẹ́. Ìmúlẹ̀ mọ́fọ náà lohun gbogbo bí ò sí wọ. Àyànfẹ́, bí ò sí wọ ohun gbogbo a sì máa jọwọ́. Èmi ṣáà fẹ́ rí ọ, àfi bí ìgbà ó bá lẹ́bọ̀ àfẹ́ rí. Èmi ń rìn nínú ibú nínú agbami yìí, ta ni yóò gbà mí? Èmi yóò wá. Ìfẹ́ yìí náà ní ń wà mí ṣàtúkọ̀ débùté. Ìfẹ́ rẹ ni yóò gbà mí. Àyànfẹ́, ìfẹ́ mi ni yóò gbà ọ́. Iye ọmọ ní ń gbọmọ. Ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ náà ni yóò gbọmọ Ọ̀rúnmìlà. Bó o bá mú mi kò ní í já. Okùn ẹ̀mí, èyí tí ń fà mí so dán-dán, bó o bá mú mi awẹ́lẹ́wà mi arọ̀ dẹ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀ ó sì má já. Okùn yìí náà ò ní í já. Ohun tí o gbọ́ kọ́ ni o gbọ́ o. Ohun tí mo sọ gangan, ìyẹn ló di gbígbọ́. Bí mo bá sọ pé àyànfẹ́ èmi má sì nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ, ohun tí mo sọ gangan ni pé àyànfẹ́ mi, abàgbà àfẹ́ lókun àyà. Ǹjẹ́ o mọ̀ pé aṣáájú ni wọn yóò pè wá nígbà tá a bá lúwẹ̀ẹ́ nínú ibú ìfẹ́ tán tá a wẹ̀ tá a ṣá kọ́ìnkọ́ìn, aṣáájú ni wọn yóò pè wá. Nígbà téyín wa bá gbóre kéékèé bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a tún fẹnu konu, tá a fẹnu fẹ́nà láì, bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a fẹ́ fi òótọ́ nǹkan. Tínú tó dúdú bí iṣin nígbà yìí di funfun báláwú bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ò yéé wu ni. Aṣáájú ni wọn yóò pè wá. Ni mo fi kúkú pé ká sára òrí sóòrùn tán, ká má bẹ̀rù yíyọ́, ká sára ayọ̀ sójò, ká má bẹ̀rù ọ̀wàrà, ká fòdodo ròdòdó ìfẹ́, ká pàjùbà sílẹ̀ déṣu àlọ̀lọ̀, ká rọ́jú dórúkọ tó dùn ún lẹ̀dọ́mọ. Ẹ̀rín wa ti dàpínrín, ẹkún wa ti dàpínsún, ìrìn wa ti dàjọ́ rìn, ẹ̀jẹ̀ wa ti dàjọ́ ṣàn, ijó wa ti dàjọ́ jó, orin wa ti dàjọ́ kọ, ewì wa ti dàjọ́ ké, ìgbà wa ti dàjọ́ lò. Nítorí bálẹ́bálẹ́ aṣáájú ni wọn yóò pè wá. Ẹni máa kú, ó ti pàdé ẹni máa sín. Àyànfẹ́, bí mo bá wí fún ọ pé mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ, ohun tí mo wí fún ọ gangan ni pé ìwọ aya, ìwọ olùfẹ́, ìwọ ayò, ìwọ arọ̀ dẹ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀ ó sì má já. Ó wù mí ju Elédùmarè lọ.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How do you feel performing that?
Top of the world.
Yeah, I hear it. I can feel it. All right. Thank you so much. Before we go, I want you to teach me a few words. Let's do it, love. You've already told me Ayofe.
Yes.
Which is so sweet today is
Right.
Ayofe, the one I have chosen
Yes.
to love. Give me 2 other words that I can say to a loved one.
To a loved one, Ayofe, we have Ayofe. There is Ololufe, which is popular, which is my lover. That is like very popular. We have Enibi Okomi.
Enibi Okomi.
Enibi Okomi.
Enibi Okomi.
Yes, Enibi Okan.
Kan.
Yes, Kan. Enibi Okami.
Enibi Okami.
Yes, the one who takes the form of my heart.
The one who takes the form of my heart.
Yes.
Enibi Okomi.
Yes, Okami. There is a hen in that Kan.
Kan.
Yes, Kan.
Enibi Okami.
Yes. The one who takes the form of my heart. The one who I can liken to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is Enibi Okami. There is Ayo. Ayo Okami. Ayo is relatively, it's relatively easier to come by. Let me look for a deeper one.
What is your favorite term of endearment?
Favorite term of endearment? Enibi Okami still tops the list.
Okay.
Enibi Okami tops the list. Ayofe. There is Ayo. Ayo Okami. Ayo Okami. Ayo Okami kind of goes, within the. It goes within the. It shares similarities with the idea of Ayofe.
Mm-hmm.
Ayo Okami. It shares similarity with the idea of Ayofe. And then there is, there are some terms of endearment that are like praises that extends into praising the beauty. Like when you say Awelewa mi or Awelewa. Now, Awelewa, where means to cut something into portions.
Yeah.
Awe, portions of things. Ewa means beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Awelewa, portions of beauty wrapped into one body. Awelewa, portions of beauty, segments of beauty, Imagine picking beauty from different elements, picking beauty from the sun, the moon, the flower, and then encompassing it together. Yes. Awelewami.
Alewami. I like that one.
Right.
Alewami.
Awelewami.
Alewami.
Yes.
Wow.
Awelewa. Awe. Yes. Lewa. Lewa.
Awelewa.
Yes. So it's basically an inverse, like Awe, A-W-E.
Yeah.
Then Ewa is E-W-A. Awe Lewa.
Awe Lewa.
Yes. Awe Lewa. So when you say Awe Lewa, you're just calling out, the one with, portions of beauty embodied into one body. Now, when you say me, you personalize it. Mine. Onitemi, the one who belongs to me, the one who is mine. Onitemi, the one who belongs to me. Even the Yoruba word for, translated as I love you is like deeper in context. But when we say monifere, we translate it as I love you. But in the real sense, monifere means I have your love. Moni, ifere, moni. When you say inkan, nimi, that means something that you have, something that you possess. Moni, ifere, I have your love, and I'm clinging onto it. But when we now contextualize it, we just say, I love you. No, but when you break it down, I have your love, and I'm clinging onto it.
That is so cool. The way the conceptualization of love itself, it's like a thing. It's a thing, as opposed to it's a feeling or just a kind of persuasion towards the person. It's like a thing, and once you have it, I have it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Yusuf.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
I've really enjoyed talking to you, learn about Yoruba culture, history, traditionalism, and the poetry and how it even affects and infects how you write. Yes. It's beautiful, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Right. All right, we'll sign off and we'll carry on with the rest of our day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.